Hello, welcome to another edition of In My Corner with Albert Apkarian, or Casual Corner with Albert Apkarian. As we try to do this once a month or once every 2 weeks, we bring in very, very honored guests, some people that we believe are movers and shakers in the community. And today we brought in one of the top of the line when it comes to the entertainment industry. With that, I want to introduce you to Sev Ohanian, which needs no introduction, of course. Everyone knows who you are. You've had an incredible background, and we met the first time a few years ago. You weren't married, didn't have a kid,
no.
and so things have changed since then. So let's do this. First of all, welcome.
Thank you, Albert. So good to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in. Tell me a little bit about your background. You know, you've done a lot of interviews. People have seen you. I read that you were born in Germany. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
that's crazy. And your parents were from Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And tell me a little bit about where you went to school, what you did, and then we'll get to the movie part after you graduate from USC. I think you went to move.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me a little bit about.
Man, so first of all, I always feel starstruck to just sit here and look at you because you're the big deal to me, man. And all of the stuff you're doing in our community with celebrities, I love seeing your face at Burbank Airport. I was telling you, I think I sent you a selfie the other day with my kid. But man, like my background is my parents grew up in Iran and they fled Iran during the revolution, and we stayed in Germany for a few years while my parents got their American visas and I was born. 4 months later, we came to LA, which is where I grew up. And as a child of immigrants, my goal was to find stability. I wanted to find a job, a respectable job like a doctor, lawyer, something that I can provide and do well. I loved filmmaking. I really loved storytelling. My mom really took me to the library. My dad took me to Blockbuster, but it felt unsafe. It didn't feel stable. So I kind of ended up studying journalism because at the time it felt like it would be a career path that could give you stability, which is what I wanted. I became the editor-in-chief of my high school newspaper, got an internship.
Which high school?
Hoover High School here in Glendale. And I became I became an intern at the LA Times, which was a big deal. This is 2004, and there was a famous story I tell all the time where the editor of the newspaper one day was looking for the high school intern. He was really upset. And I thought he realized I may have stolen a stapler or something. Called me into his office, and he was like, "What is a blog?" "A blog." And I was like, "Sir, it's just an article people write online." He was like, "Who could write it?" I said, "Anybody." And he said, "How much does it cost to read this blog?" I said, "It's free." And I could tell this man was upset. And he was a prominent editor at one of the biggest papers in the world. And I realized what was happening was he was seeing the change that the internet was going to make to print journalism. And I realized right then that what I was seeking was stability. It did not exist in any field. And that gave me the courage to pursue what I really wanted to do, which was to tell stories and make movies. So I made a couple of short films using my dad's home video camera, and I put them on YouTube. It was my friend pretending to be an Armenian dad, yelling at his kid. Today, I would say kids would make them on their phones and put them on TikTok, but this is 2005, 2007. It was my dad's video camera, it was on YouTube, and people started watching these videos. They became very popular. I made a couple more, and then all over the world, Armenians were sharing them. So I made a movie called My Big Fat Armenian Family.
I watched that this morning, actually.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Thank you. $800. And my friend played mom and dad, and it was about the cultural clash between Armenian parents and their Americanized kids over a weekend trip to Palm Spring. And it was awesome, man. And I wrote it, I directed it, I shot it, I held the camera. I had a makeup artist, but then she quit, so I did the makeup too, and it was awful makeup.
That is awesome.
And we screened the movie at Glendale High School, man. The way I got the word out is we would break into high schools overnight and put flyers in all the lockers. I think the statute of limitations is over. I can admit that, right? Okay, you could also represent me in the worst case. But we got the word out. We went to Armenian events. We basically let people know this is happening. July 12, 2008, Glendale High School. I literally I bought a projector, then I returned it a week later. My mom literally sewed the movie screen. My dad did the scaffolding for it.
Awesome.
I was so nervous that nobody would show up, but everyone showed up. Thousands of Armenians came over 2 weeks. We sold so many tickets, and more than that, people laughed during the movie, people clapped during the movie, people cried, and that empowered me. The Armenian community is what really gave me the real passion and compassion to actually pursue this as a dream, and I got into USC for grad school.
And I heard that some of the money that you made from that movie actually paid for your...
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, you know, you've had kids who go through this stuff. Like USC was not cheap at all, but the money from the proceeds of the movie definitely helped take a chunk out of the tuition. And when I was at USC, I realized I wanted to be a producer, I wanted to be a writer. At USC Film School, they often teach the students, don't do explosions, don't do animals, don't do stunts, focus on the art. You know, I was like, I want to do stunts, I want to do explosions. I really saw film school as a place that was safer, that the stakes were lower, I could do ambitious things, and I really spent a lot of time doing that. And when I was graduating, my goal was to be an assistant and work my way up over 10 years. But a student named Ryan Coogler, who had graduated the year before me, he reached out and he was very talented. And he was like, I have a movie that I've written that I'm about to direct it. There's actually financing, and I want to bring on young producers from school to have my back. And I was one of the people that was recommended because of those projects.
And the movie was the Fruitvale...
Yeah, Fruitvale Station. We made that movie in the Bay Area, very little budget, and you know, we were the two youngest people on the crew. There was people who were the assistants that were older than us, who had more experience than us. Every day, Albert, on that movie, somebody would say to me, that's not what a real producer does. Out of love, you know, sometimes, usually, but that, you know, that kind of led to imposter syndrome, because I was like, I have no business working on a real movie. I'm just coming out of film school. But honestly, I do feel to this day, the unconventional approach to making films is what made that film so special, and it's what's really helped me out. In that movie, we went to Sundance, we went to the Cannes Film Festival in France, we sold it. It led to so much. It started my career.
Yeah, that was just, I saw just trailers of it. I have to admit, I haven't seen the movie, but the trailers are just so moving, so it's so incredible. And it's a true story about what happened to an African-American guy who was pulled out by the police and how he was treated, which is very, 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 very interesting.
It's a hard movie to watch, honestly. It's one of my few movies that I haven't really rewatched in a long time because it's so real.
Tell me about the person that you work with a lot, and you now have a company with him. So tell me a little bit about that, and then I'm going to go back to searching. I want to talk to you about that.
Oh, for sure. So look, there's 3 people I met at USC that have changed my life. One of them is Ryan Coogler, who he directed Fruitvale Station, and we have a company together along with his wife, Zinzi Coogler. The 3 of us are partners. It's called Proximity Media. We've made a number of movies together, Judas and Black Massiah, which won a few Oscars, Space Jam, Creed 3, and most recently Sinners, that did really well. I would argue Ryan is the single most talented filmmaker of my generation, certainly. He directed Black Panther, which made almost $2 billion. He made Black Panther 2, and he's just one of those one-of-a-kind filmmakers who's not only so talented, he's also a good person. And he's not Armenian, I'm not Black, but because of our similar cultures and family, our cultures that are really family-oriented, we really bonded. When we were in those early days, right before we made Fruitvale, one time he was in LA to have some meetings, and he asked me if he could spend the night with me, and I said of course. And he came over to Glendale and crashed on my bedroom with my family, on a sleeping bag. My mom made him dolma that night, and he fell in love. And in the morning, we ate eggs with my dad, and we really bonded. And I think he was actually the very first non-Armenian person who saw my big fat Armenian family. And I think I was touched that he actually related to it and saw what was great about it. So, over the last 15 years, we formed a really beautiful friendship and partnership. That's
good. So we can call him Ryan Cooglerian.
Exactly.
Just give him Ryan.
That's a great one.
He'll just transfer into it. I want you to talk a little bit about what do you say, well, you know what, we might not have time. We'll do that in the second part, because I want you to inspire some people.
Sure.
Which you can, because you've been there. You've done it all, but let's go back and talk about Searching.
Sure.
I enjoyed that movie tremendously. I thought that movie just had a different look to it, completely out of the box. People didn't think about that. Just recently, another movie came that tried to do the same thing and completely flopped. It just didn't have the Ice Cube movie that came out. They really tried to imitate Searching, and it just didn't work. But your movie, how was it that you and I don't want to butcher his name, Anish
Chaganty,
Anish, how was it that you guys came up with that idea?
Yeah, of course. So I mentioned there was 3 people at USC that changed my life. One was Ryan, the other was Anish Chaganty, who I wrote that movie Searching with, and he directed it.
The 4th person would be your wife.
The 3rd person is my wife, Natalie. Yeah, and Natalie Kasabian, actually, she produced Searching with me. So There was a period of my career after Fruitvale where I was making a lot of small indie films all over the country. I was shooting a faith-based movie in Kentucky, a Chinese Mandarin language movie here in Austin, Savannah, everywhere. And it was great, and I was getting a lot of experience, but I was the junior producer. I wasn't in charge. I wasn't really giving a lot of creative instruction. It was more just kind of getting the jobs done. I was so hungry, Albert, to make a small movie that I knew could reach a wide audience. And at the time, I was starting to make a reputation where people were sending me scripts, but I wasn't getting the best scripts in Hollywood. So I started going to cafes and asking, can I read that script? I would ask Uber drivers, and half the time in LA, they were writers. So I was reading all these scripts, never found the one I loved. I realized I would have to write one. So Anish and I started writing. We had this opportunity to do something with Searching, which is like, can you tell an emotional, compelling story on a computer screen? It sounds almost like a joke, but we were like, what if we could? And we pitched it as a short film. The financiers were like, we don't want to make it. We want to make it as a movie. You guys will write it, you'll direct it, you'll produce it. What do you say? Anish, who was going to direct it, he said no. I literally kicked him, and I was like, he means no problem. I was like, bro, and he's like, I don't want to make my first movie on a computer screen. It's going to be cheesy. And look, he's not wrong to have that concern. So I told them, we're going to get back to you guys. And every day I would call Anish saying, okay, we're not going to do this movie. No way. But what if we did? How would we start it? What would the next scene be? And to his credit, after a few weeks, we really landed on a way to make that emotionally. And Natalie came on to produce it with us, which was a dream come true because she was the best producer I knew. And honestly, like, it's a gimmicky idea that you're watching someone on a laptop, but if we could find a way to make it emotional and compelling, and think about it, every day we use our laptops. And it's a story about a father searching for his missing daughter. And the truth is, if someone goes missing, you're going to go into their stuff, and you might learn that you don't actually know them all that much. So once we found that emotional connection, we really worked hard. We shot it for 13 days. We edited for over a year. We got into Sundance. I got the producer award. We got the audience award. We sold it, and we made the movie for $880,000, so under $1 million, and it made $75 million in theaters, which is like insane.
It's insane. You guys that was just an incredible, incredible movie. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Let's take a quick break. Let's come back and get some more information and some inspiration from Sev Ohanian, one of the top, not just Armenian producer, but one of the top young producers in our time right now. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. Again, we are here with Sev Ohanian, one of the most incredible young producers, writers. I don't know what else to put after his name because he does so much in the entertainment industry. So with that, I want to go back again. Now, after Searching, you did another movie called you did the Searching, and then you did Missing.
Missing, yes, the sequel to Searching, yes.
Sequel to Searching, which was just as exciting because the ending I never ever imagined.
Yes.
I never ever had any idea what the ending was going to be. How was it that you went from that? Was it because of the success of Searching that you went to Missing, or how did that come?
Yeah, so we wrote Searching without ever intending to make a sequel, but the studio, Sony, called me and they were like, hey, we're ready for part 2. And I honestly thought they were kidding. And they were saying, can the dad look for someone else this time? And I was like, oh man, like, I don't know if that's gonna maybe work. Like, it's gonna ruin the art of the movie. But honestly, Ryan Coogler was like, man, you guys have to do it. Like, truly, you guys are the only ones that could do it. And also, if you guys don't do it, maybe someone else will do it. So we really thought about it, and I was like, what else can we say with this art form? And I realized the first movie was about a father looking for a child. What if the second time we flip that? It's a child looking for a mother. And we found a way to make it international and all these things. And, you know, we really took it seriously. And honestly, I'm so proud of that movie. My favorite character in that movie is a character named Javi, who's the guy that she uses to, you know, she's looking for a mom who went missing in Colombia, so she hires a Colombian task rabbit, you know, helper. And he was very much inspired by my actual father. And I put all of my dad into him. My dad's a genius. He's brilliant. He's so funny. He's so loving. And I feel like that movie works because that's the heart of the story. And you know, I'm really proud to say that movie was another success, and it made tons of money, and a lot of people liked it. And you know, I can tell you, you know, we're really starting to think about making a third one now. So it's really exciting.
I would love it. I love those movies anyways. In 2018, you made your company. And then in 2021, you signed with Disney.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And you started making movies. And tell me a little bit about your relationship with Anish, is it?
Anish,
and
yeah.
how that's, how that has moved you forward.
Yeah, I love Anish, man. Like, again, he's Indian American. We really bonded over our similar families. Indian and Armenian culture is so similar. I really think that's the root of any successful partnership, is finding the commonalities in your ethics and your roots. He's brilliant, man. We talk. I think there's not a human being on the planet I've ever spoken more to than Anish. We're always pitching ideas to each other, and we have a trust in each other. They often say a good writing partnership, you would think it should look like this, but with Anish and I, it actually looks like this. All we do is argue about what idea is better, and his idea is worse, and my idea is better, and yada, yada, yada. But at the root of it, we really care about the story. And I'm so proud. We actually just set up a big movie that we're going to be doing where Anish is directing it. Natalie's going to produce with me. Ryan's going to produce with me. It's a big budget spy action thriller that we're going to be doing with Paramount next year. So I'm so excited about it. But, it's funny. I call Anish Chagantian all the time, too, similar to Ryan Coogler. We have a great partnership, man, and Natalie too. She's she's the glue that keeps us together. And
let's talk about that. Let's talk about Natalie.
Yeah.
First of all, when you were here first time, again, as I said, no kid and no wife. Now Natalie's your wife, and your son's name is
Aren.
Aren. So tell me a little bit about how is that relationship where you have a producer writer. How does that come? Do you guys have how does that relationship work?
So the truth is, Natalie and I met in film school, and she was, aspiring to be a producer as well. She had a very successful job as an assistant to a big deal producer, and we had kind of made a discussion that we were never going to work together because it could be awkward, husband, wife, or at the time we were boyfriend, girlfriend. It just felt like it was going to invite too much conflict. I was going to Savannah to shoot an indie film that I kind of had inherited this film, and I had a producing partner who, on day 2 of the shoot, I just realized it wasn't going to work out. And this movie was going to fall apart unless I had someone who could really help me. And Natalie had just put in her resignation to her job because she wanted to go produce a bunch of other things. I called her and I was like, hey, babe, I'm in Savannah. I need you. She's like, what do you need? I'm like, I need you to get on a plane. She's like, when? Like Friday, Saturday? I was like, babe, tonight. And she was like, okay. She got on a plane. She flew to Savannah. And day 2, we just kicked butt together. We made the movie work. It was so successful. And I remember like 3 weeks into the shoot, we were having like an off day, 4th of July or something. We're all hanging out, and Natalie and I were kind of like cozying up together. People were like, are you guys hooking up? I'm like, she's my girlfriend. They didn't even realize after 3 weeks that we were in a romantic relationship because we were so serious about the job. And honestly, we were surprised. We worked really, really well together. So after that, we started working together, and Natalie has been very clear about we should only do one together, one off, one together, one off, because it makes it that much more special when we're together. So we've had a successful run, Searching, Missing, Run. Now we're doing Doppelganger, the spy movie. I couldn't tell you how much she's honestly incredible, and I think it makes it easier sometimes when you get to have breakfast with someone talking about the budget or talking about the script changes and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's an interesting thing. Your mom and dad are still alive?
Yes.
Both of them. What influence have they had in what you've become?
Everything. Aside from introducing me to my love of storytelling as a young kid, they've been an incredible example for me, my sister Ramala. My sister Ramala, she's a lawyer like yourself, an entertainment attorney.
Entertainment attorney, great young attorney.
Yeah, she's blown. I mean, every week she's on some other list of top, entertainment movers and shakers in Hollywood. Yeah. And our parents really instilled in us a serious work ethic. My whole life, my dad, my mom, they really worked hard. Obviously, they made time for us too, but my dad is an entrepreneur. He had his own business, quite successful. My mom worked her way up through 20, 30 years at the LAUSD school system, just rising through the ranks all the time. They were incredible examples to us of how you can put your passion into what you do and do it carefully and meaningfully. And the truth is, I call them all the time. While I would make my movies, I would call my mom and be like, hey, I need your help. This movie star is saying this or that. And my mom, this incredible, humble woman who's successful in her own right, she would give me incredible advice. I mean, you're a lawyer. You know the value of really strong advice. My dad, I would do the same. And sometimes we're making these indie films and somebody's backing a truck and they hit a building and they're like, oh shoot, this building is damaged. My dad, who was a very successful contractor, I would call him. Within 30 minutes, he's there with a bunch of his Armenian friends. They patched the building. Everything's great. That happens so many times. So I really owe everything to them, and I'm so grateful that I can share the success with them. And we've been doing little things like to honor them. And my mom's a character in my movies. My dad, we inspired a character. So that's why we do it.
That's awesome. What do you say to a young person who wants to get into entertainment? Now, being a producer, writer, actor, actress, what is one thing that if you knew back then, it would have made your life easier?
Yeah, I think no question. There's three things I would say. Like, honestly, I've thought long and hard about this because I want to give actionable, tangible advice, not just believe in yourself, although of course you should do that too. The three things are self-educate. Education is so important. Of course, go to college, all the things that you have to do, but self-educate. Take it upon yourself to read every book you can get your hands on. Go on YouTube, watch every YouTube video you can watch, because there's competition is real in this industry, in every industry. To set yourself apart, you can either be born successful and to rich parents or whatever, or you can make yourself truly like an expert in your field. That's the first thing. Second thing is capitalize on your resources. Again, you may not necessarily come from money, but you have resources, especially being an Armenian in this community. You have relatives, you have access to stores, you have access to people that might have interesting ideas, and that is a true resource. You can capitalize on that when not a lot of people have that to their benefit. And thirdly, networking. But to me, it took me a long time to realize the real path to networking. It's not about who you know. It's actually about who knows you. And to do that, you have to put in good work. Truly get out there, make your content, use your iPhones, constantly be producing or directing or acting, whatever it is. The more you put that work out there using social media, the more others will see that. And everyone needs a good producer. Everyone needs a good writer. Everyone needs a good actor. You have to put that out there. That's the way to network. It's not about necessarily going to parties and exchanging business cards. It's about doing the work so that people know to find you. So those three things, honestly, I think have made a big impact in my career.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've always said, whatever you want to do, focus on it and put in whatever hours it needs. People think that they can just manifest whatever they want and it will just happen. It just never happens. You can manifest whatever you want, but if you don't work towards that manifestation, it's never going to happen.
Completely agree.
You got to work hard. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. You're an athlete, you got to work hard. You're an actor, you got to just make your appearances. And if you're a producer, writer, and / then you have to do what you've done, which is to go. And I look forward in just seeing you in so much more. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are going to see Sev Ohanian get an Oscar nomination within the next 5 years. And I'm going to put my name on there. Watch it. I'm going to bring you back after you get your Oscar and say, I told you so, first of all. What I want you to do is do something that I like to do in my shows, which is to look at your camera, talk to your wife, and talk to your parents.
Oh man, you can make me cry. Hi Natalie, hi Mom, hi Dad. I love you guys. Thank you for everything. Hi Ramala. Hi everyone in my life that's always supported me. You know, my parents, you guys tirelessly put so many hours into supporting this, unconventional career path for an Armenian immigrant. My wife Natalie, you've put in 100 billion work hours into making these dreams come true for all of us. So I'm so grateful to you guys. Thank you forever, and I will always owe you.
That's it.
Try not to cry.
Hey, that's good. I'm crying. Thank you, Sev, for showing up. It's very important for us to have people like you. People could reach out to you and get some pointers if they're new directors and new actors. And we appreciate you coming down here. I know how busy you are, and I know your time is very valuable. And having people see you, having young people see you, it's very inspiring. So with that, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming in. And hopefully you'll come in again after you get your Oscar and after you have a very big movie. I'm going to call you. Don't ignore me, okay?
I'm honored, man. Thank you for having me at all. I genuinely look up to you, man. We need people like you in our career who not only are you so wildly successful in your own right, you give back to the community. You're so accessible. So I'm honored to be here with you, man. Thank you, Albert.
Thank you, Sev. Again, thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next month with another guest, and we will let you know what that guest is very soon. But I'm honored to have Sev Ohanian with us today, and he's promised that he'll come back. Thank you for watching us today. Have a nice day.